Proportions are really useful for solving everyday problems. So let's take a look at them right now. Welcome to Math Bytes. I'm Allison, and today we're talking about proportions. Let's jump right into a definition. A proportion is a statement that two ratios are equal. So for example, 5/10 equals 1/2 is a proportion because those two ratios are equal to each other. 5 is half of 10 and 1 is half of 2. Now, in general, A/B equals C/D is a proportion if and only if A times D equals B times C. So you see we would be cross-multiplying there, numerator times denominator and denominator times numerator. Now note, it doesn't matter if I put the small number on top and the big number on the bottom, or the big number on top and the small number on the bottom, as long as I do it the same on both sides of the equal sign. So for example, 10/5 equals 2/1 is also a proportion. Big number on top on both sides, small number on the bottom on both sides. Let's take a look at an example of how you can use proportions. You have an image that measures 3,524 pixels long by 2,740 pixels wide. And you need to crop your image so it's in a 16:9 ratio with a width of 750 pixels. What will the other dimension of your image be? Okay, now let's note that what we're cropping is the width of our image, the short side of our image. So that means our 2,740 pixels will get cropped to 750 pixels. Now let's set up our proportion. We have 16/9 equals x over 750. Big number over small number on one side of the equation, big number over small number on the other side of the equation. Remember that 750 pixels is the shorter side of our image. Now to solve this, we just cross multiply. So we get 9x equals 16 times 750, and that multiplies out to be 9x equals 12,000. Now I'm just going to multiply both sides by 1/9 to get rid of that 9 in front of my x. And I get 1/9 times 9x equals 12,000 times 1/9. And when I do that arithmetic, I get that x equals 1,333 pixels. So if you crop your image to 1,333 by 750, that will suffice in this situation. Let's take a look at another example of using proportions. You're baking an apple pie, and the recipe calls for 8 apples for 6 servings. How many apples do you need for 16 servings? Okay, so we're going to set up a proportion to solve this. Now notice it doesn't matter if I do apples over servings or servings over apples, as long as I do it the same on both sides of the equation. So I'm going to do servings over apples. So I get 6 servings over 8 apples equals 16 servings over x, my currently unknown number of apples. And to solve this, I'm going to cross multiply. So I get 6x equals 8 times 16, or 6x equals 128. Now I'm going to multiply both sides of my equation by 1/6, and I get 1/6 times 6x equals 128 times 1/6. And when I do that arithmetic, I get that x equals 21⅓ apples. Now, you're making a recipe. You don't actually have to use that 1/3 of an apple. If you use 21 apples, your recipe should come out fine. Or you could use 21½ apples. This gives you the right idea, though, of how to increase the portions of apples that you need for more servings of your recipe. Proportions are really useful and actually quite easy to solve. Just make sure you set them upright. Remember, big number over small number equals big number over small number, or small over big equals small over big. As long as you do that, then all you have to do is cross multiply, do a little bit of arithmetic, and you're there. That's it for this episode of Math Bytes. If you like our videos, please subscribe to our channel. And if there's something you want to ask us, just send us an email. We're at contactmathbytes@gmail.com, and we'll see you next time.